people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Jake Paul can always get it. I always tell him that. He can always get it.
Like, why would you try to fight a man? He's 200 pounds.
Jake, he talk too much.
Oh,
that's why. Listen, Jake Paul know that I won't smoke with him. I told him that, listen, me and him could just spar. We ain't even got to fight with no cameras. I just want to show him, look what I'll do to you, big man.
This is what Clarissa Shields had to say on the Club Shay Shay podcast after MVP made her a sizable offer to come over and be promoted by them, an offer that she admitted to receiving, an offer she admitted was worth a lot of money. This is why I said they're a lot better than I am, because I wouldn't have offered her shit. For the way that she's been behaving towards them without provocation for the last 5 years. People act like it doesn't matter that she's the one that started this would-be beef with Jake Paul out of the clear blue sky. When he knocks out Nate Robinson over 5 years ago, she starts taking shots at him, threatening to knock him out. So that over 5 years later, that same Jake Paul via MVP can offer her big money to be promoted by them. So who is it that has the beef? Is it Jake? Or is it just Clarissa? As he doesn't seem to have a problem with her more than she has a problem with him. But what's the problem? What's her problem? Jake does not spend anywhere near as much time talking about Clarissa as she spends talking about him. Well, he's got better things to do. She doesn't. So after getting knocked on her ass by little old Artur Amitov, she still thinks she can fight a 200-pound man?
Yes. Oh!
It was said years ago, immediately after that incident with Artur Amatov's, where he let loose and knocked her down off a clean counter, that Shields, so rattled by it, thought that his gloves were loaded, thought that they were scheming, so she ran to her car and got a knife. Now, could it be that her ego is so massive that she could not accept a man packs a big enough punch to knock her down, a man who's actually naturally smaller than she is? Artur Amitov used to campaign as a lightweight. Guy's a lightweight, not even a very good one.
Yes. Oh!
Little known, Artur Amatov's boxing career did not last very long. He debuted as a professional in 2019 and had his final professional boxing match the following year in September of 2020. So this is a guy who's miles away from world class. He only went on to have a grand total of 7 professional fights, having been stopped in one of them by the likes of Rolly Romero.
Wow.
In the second round. This is the guy who put the great Clarissa Shields on her ass. A guy who's miles away from world class. Not even a big guy, not even a big puncher. He only has 2 recorded knockouts.
Not big on power.
Still big enough to give Clarissa Shields a reality check.
Yes. Oh!
Guy that did that is a lightweight, and not even a very good one or a very experienced one. He couldn't have had very many fights since his career ended at 6-1. And that's the guy to set you down. So what do you think would happen if Jake Paul hit you like that? It's a full-grown man, full-blown Cruiserweight. If he connects on you, how Artur Amitov connected on you, what do you think happens? Making it all the more peculiar that Clarissa is keeping this thing going, this beef with Jake Paul, when the footage of her getting dropped is readily available for anyone to watch by a little-known little guy. Is it that her ego is so massive she is not willing to accept that a lightweight, male lightweight, not even a very good one, packs a big enough punch to drop her? Or is it that she's keeping this beef with Jake going for some other reason? And then it dawned on me that Clarissa Shields seems to get more press for the people that she doesn't fight than the people she does. The beef with Alicia Baumgartner, that was widely covered by everybody in boxing. There was more chatter around that than any of Clarissa Shields' recent fights. The beef with Layla Ali, that's been raging for 5 or 6 years now, there's been more chatter around that than any of Clarissa's recent fights. How many of these people do you think know who Lonnie Daniels is? Or Danielle Perkins? Or Vanessa Joannese?
I don't know who the fuck those broads are.
Comparatively, there's been more chatter around fights that Clarissa didn't have, like with Alicia or Layla, than the ones she did. So this beef with Jake Paul might just be a marketing strategy, a marketing tactic to keep her talked about, because her fights certainly don't.
You don't see anybody talking about that Lonnie Daniels fight?
Connecting the dots. These people that she has these beefs with, whether it's Cameron Giles or Layla Ali or Alicia Baumgartner or Jake Paul, they have more of a profile than any of her opponents. So maybe the reason that she's keeping this thing going with Jake,
Keeping it alive.
is because it'll keep her name in the news, keep her name in the headlines. At first I thought, this broad is out of her mind. Her ego is out of control.
Haven't you already been humbled by a little-known Latvian boxer?
She talks about Jake a hell of a lot more than Jake talks about her. Jake's got better things to do and bigger fish to fry, and that's the reason she keeps bringing him up. She's actually piggybacking off of his celebrity.
Don't say nothing about Layla, don't say nothing about Jake. And how many people are gonna be sat around talking about the legendary Lonnie Daniels fight?
Think about it. If not for these periodic spats that she has with people that are more well-known than her opponents, she'd just fade into the background.
But if what you're saying is that she's clout chasing Jake and using him for promotion, then why didn't she just sign to MVP to be promoted by them that way?
Well, she's fucking stupid. I mean, I never said she was smart. Right now, she's digmatized by veteran rapper Papoose, and he's the one who facilitated the deal between Win Records and her already promoter, Dimitri Salita. It seems to me that Papoose is the one who convinced her to not sign to Matchroom and not sign to MVP.
The big $8 million deal. $8 million over 2 years spread across 4 fights.
Oh, that Katie and Amanda made more than that for one. That's what MVP was able to do for them. 18 million split down the middle between Amanda and Katie. That's the kind of money that MVP was able to get them for just one fight. So when I say,
Not a smart woman.
let me not sign to MVP but still rely on Jake Paul for promotion anyway.
That's how this reads.
It's not just an ego trip, but a means for promotion. When she's saying all this stuff about Jake, do you think she actually expects him to oblige her, to do a fight with her? No.
Nope.
Though she would like for him to respond, and she would like for him to engage in a back and forth with her to keep her name out there.
It's clout chasing.
She's a clout chaser. The greatest woman of all times, the GWOAT, needs to rely on Jake Paul to stay relevant.
That's how this reads.
Now it's time for another installment of what is fast becoming the most popular segment here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail,
It's our old buddy, Antonio Mosley.
who said, "This response is worse than Biden's response to the COVID lockdowns. Did I or did I not say, how is he a Floyd Mayweather wannabe when both accomplishments are different things in their careers?
I didn't mention their accomplishments. You did that. I didn't compare them.
Did I or did I not say yes, Devin Haney compared himself to Mayweather styles-wise, yes or no?
More straw man arguments from Antonio, since that's not what I said. You're talking about something else.
Show me where I argued where you, yes, UIQ, being wrong about Devin Haney's performance due to you calling him boring.
What the fuck kind of sentence structure is that? So Devin Haney often likens himself to Floyd Mayweather publicly. He even said verbatim that he is Floyd Mayweather reincarnated, and you're wondering why I and many others call him a Mayweather wannabe, as he says he is the new and improved version of that fighter. Clearly, he wants to be like him.
So when he gets called a Mayweather wannabe, that goes over your head? You want to start talking about accomplishments and styles?
You want to start talking about something I didn't say, because you can't really address what I did say, since what I did say is based on something real.
Yeah.
Something you can't refute.
But he continued, argue what people say, not what you think they mean.
You really should take your own advices. That's what you're doing.
You have a bad case of liberalism, or are you simply going to strawman everyone who disagrees with you?
I mean, that is literally what you're doing. You're the one who's deferring to accomplishments, which I didn't mention in my initial video. You're the one who's referring to styles. It's like you don't want to address what I actually said in the initial video because there's nothing to say about it. Devin Haney is a fighter who often likens himself to Floyd Mayweather, compares himself to him all the time, quotes him as if he's quoting scripture.
Book of Floyd, chapter 5, verse 7.
There is no shortage of individuals who have noticed this themselves and pointed it out on many occasions, to where you shouldn't be confused why someone calls him a Mayweather wannabe. So you're either stupid or pretending to be stupid. Because this whole discussion is stupid. What the fuck are you doing, huh? You think that you can gatekeep the parameters for what constitutes someone being a wannabe? Is that what you're trying to do? That because their accomplishments are not exactly the same, how could he be a wannabe? Because he said that he's another grown man reincarnated. If somebody ran around saying, I'm the new Antonio Mosley, I'm Antonio Mosley reincarnated, who would that person be trying to be like?
We really gotta do this?
Yeah, because Antonio Mosley needs his hand held through it. I mean, if a guy ran around saying that I'm Antonio Mosley reincarnated, except that Antonio isn't dead, he's still alive. Like Floyd Mayweather isn't dead, he's still alive. Why would a grown man say that he is the reincarnated version of another grown man who's still alive? Why would he do that? And why would he consistently borrow catchphrases and jargon from that same grown man he says he's the reincarnated version of?
Apropos, I propose a theorem. Perhaps he is trying to be like that grown man.
And in trying to be like him, that makes him a wannabe, a want to be. Because you're not actually him, but you want to be.
Eureka!
But I think that Antonio Mosley already knew all of that. He's just being deliberately obtuse, allowing us to circle back to my original conclusion that because he cannot refute my original assertion, he wishes to argue about something else, trying to set parameters for what constitutes someone being a wannabe. The kings of gatekeeping stupid shit online. Arguing stupid shit online. See, I cut through the bullshit because I know you're not really arguing about what you're arguing about. This is not about base styles and not about accomplishments. Since I never actually mentioned them, you mentioned all of that shit. This is about you being mad that I called him a wannabe, which didn't seem to surprise anybody but you. Nobody else is struggling with this but you. Nobody's baffled by it. Nobody's surprised. Everybody else seems to understand but you. Except that you understand it too. You're just pretending you don't so that you can argue about something else. And you want to argue because you're mad.
Why are you mad?
Because you can't argue about what I said. You can't refute it.
Why are you mad?
Because I made fun of your favorite homo boxer who fights like he's scared shitless.
Why are you mad?
Because I, like many people, have pointed out how ridiculous it is for Devin Haney, a full-grown man, to liken himself to another full-grown man. The full-grown man who actually instructed Ryan Garcia to come in a few pounds over for their fight.
Floyd.
It was Floyd who told Ryan Garcia to do that. That's what Ryan revealed. That under Floyd's instruction, he told Ryan to come in a few pounds over for the Haney fight.
Floyd.
Making Devin Haney look like an even bigger dickhead that he sat around quoting Floyd Mayweather verbatim like he's quoting scripture, like he's worshiping at the altar of TBE, when TBE set you up. Dumbass. But keep it up. Keep borrowing phrases from Floyd Mayweather, keep trying to be like him so that Antonio can wonder why people are calling you a wannabe. Because he must be as dense as you are. I mean, he must be if he's struggling with that. And you know he left me yet another long-winded comment, which you can expect in the next segment of the hate mail.
David Benavidez, the fight yesterday, it's, I guess, what everyone's talking about right now. Your initial reaction to his fight yesterday and then what happened after that?
Good on him, man. Good on him.
Talks of the Zurdo fight. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, they're obviously ducking. You know, I don't think it's it's very obvious that they don't want to fight. You know, in my eyes, it's like, fuck. You want to keep getting better and you want to keep sort of leveling up and prove you're the best. But these guys see it other ways. You know, who knows what they're chasing? You know what I mean? Like, well, what's he proving? You know, what's Zurdo trying to prove? Fighting, you know, does that prove he's the best in the fucking Cruiserweight division? I don't think so. You know, he's fighting a guy coming up 2 weight categories. So, what does this mean? You know, you tell me. Well, what the fuck? What am I meant to say to this? You know, so If he wants to beat the best, he's got to fight. If he wants to be the best, he's got to beat the best. So, you know, he's definitely not doing that. So.
Well, Zurdo didn't actually move up to the Cruiserweight division from a desire to be the best. He really moved up there because he didn't have a choice. His body wouldn't let him keep making light heavyweight anymore. Or did everybody forget that for what was supposed to be his final fight at the weight against Gabe Rosado, he came in way overweight? 7 pounds over, which is an astronomical number for boxing. Did you even try to make the weight? So when you understand that the only reason that Zurdo found himself in the cruiserweight division is because he didn't have much of a choice, that it's not from some desire to be the best and prove it. Well, you say that, but then why did he fight Arsene Goulamarian for the WBA? And why did he then unify it with Chris Billum-Smith's WBO? Why did he do that if he didn't want to prove that he's the best? Well, this is still boxing, and the parameters still are what they are. Zurdo doesn't have the kind of marquee value to where he can go his career without an alphabet title, without being a champion. Those are the rules. Sometimes they bend them, and sometimes they break them, but certain rules just are what they are, and Zurdo needed a title. After he won one, he went ahead and picked up another. But as far as proving that he's the best in the cruiserweight division, if that were his aim, he wouldn't be so focused on David Benavidez, who's done absolutely nothing at the weight. Every boxer's purview of their profession is not the same. That is evident in the difference between an Usyk and some other fighter, an Inoue, a Crawford, and some other fighter, some other fighters. Some aspire to be more than just pugilists, more than just prize fighters, and some fighters are just that. Prize fighters. Zurdo may be a champion, a unified champion, but I don't think he has the same mentality as those aforementioned fighters. I don't think he has the same mentality as Jai Opetaia. I don't think David has it either. And that's why these two fighters require all of this angling and all of these narratives to go about their careers safely, where they can make money but simultaneously avoid risks. Jai Opetaia sat down with my old shift supervisor, Jay McAllister, said what we're all thinking, that all these guys are avoiding him, which begs the question, if he understands that, then how long will it be before he moves up to heavyweight? He stated that he doesn't struggle with making the weight at cruiser, and that moving to heavy will only happen when he chooses. His immediate goal is still to become undisputed cruiserweight champion. What we've talked about on a number of occasions when it comes to Jai Opetaia and his physical dimensions, does he actually have the adequate dimensions to make it as a heavyweight? Because he's not that big a cruiser. I think that is at least in part what's keeping him there, in pursuit of undisputed, which in many ways is a dead end. Zurdo is so obviously avoiding him, and I don't know that the winner of Jack versus Michaelian 2 will be any quicker to fight Jai than Zurdo was. And for all I know, they might choose to fight the winner of Zurdo versus Benavidez to avoid Jai. They may use each other to avoid him. And that will remain the elephant in the room in all their endeavors at this weight. You're not really proving anything until you take this guy on, so long as he remains champion.